I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
hello and welcome everyone to the Writing with the Marks. I think I got a name right this time.
Yeah, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, Writing with the Marks.
Something like that.
We're going to do our non-spoiler review of Venom.
Nice. You did that pretty fucking good.
And it's probably going to come out like shit.
Probably. They're like, what the hell was that? I do not have my little selfie stick thing that my kids let me borrow. So if this is a shaky cam, then I'm right in line.
I like how that's put. My kids let me borrow it.
I don't fucking own one. It was not even really a selfie stick.
So with all the negative reviews, whatever the hell it is on Rotten Tomatoes, like, I think it was at 30?
Yeah, 30-something is like the last that I heard. Just like anything else, go into this open mind. Pleasantly surprised, I think, for being PG-13. Definitely from PG-13 to R, probably could have added a little bit of value to it from that standpoint. But yeah, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid movie. Obviously, again, I think more than likely we'll see how the box office and we'll see how fans treat it. But another movie where the critics are wrong, shocker.
Yeah, shocking.
But blockbuster type movie again.
Critics in quotes here.
Yeah. So again, sounds like to me they're wrong. You know, they're sticking to this formula that you have to have apparently. But again, so we'll talk about the movie. Solid. I don't know. I liked it. The comedy, there's some comedy in it. Good interactions between Eddie Brock and Venom. Solid shit. Loved it.
Yeah. I thought that was the best part of the comedy was Eddie Brock and Venom. Unfortunately, 2 movies in a row now, I've had some giggly ass bastard next to me. Both of them have been dudes. And no, on the other side of me, just fucking laughing at everything, and I think that takes away from the humor, because at least from my experience, because he's just laughing at everything and kind of like making me cringe. Where I'm like, dude, shut up! Like, that's some of the most basic stuff. He's giggling at it. So, anyways, I thought the humor was pretty solid. That was most of the interaction that I enjoyed was between Venom and Eddie Brock. Tom Hardy nailed it, I thought. As far as my expectations, I thought he did a fantastic job. I thought the acting overall was pretty solid. I don't know about between Eddie and Annie. I didn't really care for their chemistry much. If you couldn't tell, we went to a different theater this time. If you've ever watched any of our other non-spoiler reviews, so we're trying to figure out our way out of this place. But
yeah, the interaction between Eddie and Venom is fantastic. The villain, so I heard a lot of people saying he's boring, generic, and so forth, and I actually thought, yeah, he's villain. He's evil for being evil, but I thought he actually had like some decent motivations, and like he seemed to have some charisma. The actor, I don't know the actor's name, but I thought he brought a little charisma to it. Yeah, he seemed to be able to convince people to do things, and he did it in a very, I don't know, not a patriotic way, I guess, but like a very enthusiastic way, I guess. I don't know. He just had like this way with words where I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it worked. He made it work in kind of a generic, very almost stereotypical, like, oh, you know, limited resources, we need to find our way out of this and find some alternative. He made that work. Something that, you know, that is a little generic. I think he kind of added to it.
Yeah, I don't want to, no real spoilers, but also for Predator, but I don't know what the hell all of a sudden Hollywood's obsession is with fucking global warming.
Right.
But it was in Predator where it's like 1 to 2 generations, the Earth is done.
And we're out of here.
And and this one, again, they brought up like in like a generation, the Earth is gonna go to shit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what the fuck? And then even in Justice League, actually, there's a part where he's like talking to Aquaman. He's like, "Whoa, the polar men fucked up the world, ruined the ice polar caps or something like that. We deserve
polar
it."
Ice caps, yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is with this global? Like, is that just the fucking crux of every movie now? Like,
yeah,
that's why we all deserve to die. Okay.
Right. Well, and limited resources and stuff like that. Thanos as well.
Oh yeah, the limit. Jesus.
Yeah. So they're just all kind of sticking to that, but you know, as Matt said, I think the actor for the main villain, he made it work. I thought he made it work pretty solid. The action I thought was pretty badass for the most part.
PG-13 action.
Yeah, could have added a little bit to it with if it was R, but I thought the action was pretty solid. It does some cool stuff throughout the movie.
The PG-13 rating did not ruin the movie as much. I'm gonna hit this little motherfucker for getting in and out.
Right? Not for jaywalking, for getting in and out.
Son of a bitch. That looks good. The PG-13 didn't destroy this movie as much as I thought it would. They did definitely ride a line. Mm-hmm. There's like some compound fractures that you see, and there's some blood, and not really too much on the language or sex or anything like that. But you know, there's some decent violence in it. They do some. They throw people around pretty good.
No F-bombs, but pussy is thrown out there.
In a very funny way.
Yeah, right.
Pretty funny. Again, more interaction between Venom and Eddie Brock. The movie, though, is definitely nowhere near as bad as people or critics. I kid. Right. I'm driving, so it's...
And he was doing the air quotes.
And but as they said, and I thought it was a solid movie. Is it like is it breaking ground?
No,
not
at all. But definitely not as generic either as a lot of some of the reviews. And I haven't read a ton, but some of the reviews that I've read made it seem like it was a super generic movie, boring. Not at all, and definitely not nearly as bad as what it's made out to be.
Does it take a little bit to get to Venom? Yeah, it does chug a little bit in the beginning. There's definitely some building there, and that's kind of where I feel like maybe the movie was cut down a little bit in the Venom areas. They left the first act, but then they chopped down like the second and third act.
Yeah, to kind of, I guess, roll into some of the negatives that I thought. I actually enjoyed the fact that they waited to show Venom, even though we kind of knew what he looked like. But I thought the pacing was a little off. Like you jumps right into the movie. It's super fast. I feel like it should have been slowed down a little bit in the beginning, maybe. It was super quick, and even the dialogue kind of felt
rushed.
Rushed, a little choppy.
Especially the ending. The ending just flies by so fast.
Yeah.
And the dialogue and just what the hell is going on. What's the goal of the bad guy? It's just gets thrown in your face real fucking fast. And then boom, here we go. Action scene. Call it good. Yeah. It definitely feels rushed, and I feel like that's where a big chunk of the movie got cut down.
Yeah. It sucks when you can notice how, you know, they cut things for time. I definitely think that's a noticeable factor. Even in the final fight, there's quite a bit that was chopped down, where they just kind of speeded along. It feels like some of the fight should have gone a little bit longer, and they chopped it down. I thought they made it work with kind of the two. I don't know if do people know about the villain mainly. I don't know if that's
he was in the trailer.
Okay, all right.
As a symbiote?
Yes. So
he was in the trailer. They showed it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Okay. So not too spoilerish, but obviously Riot, Venom, they fight, and I thought they did a pretty solid job, but it was also kind of, because it was a little choppy, and I think sped up. It was tough to see at certain points. It's just kind of
dark.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a blob moving along each other, and it was interesting for sure.
Example will say, big CGI fight coming right up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
So I mean, it was still a good fight, but I mean, yeah, it's dark. I know what you're talking about. And there's like a certain point where there's a lot of things going on, and you're like, what is going on?
Right, exactly.
And
Exactly.
there's something,
Hard to
and then
tell.
something kind of like happens, and I'm like, I had no idea that was even happening. I couldn't believe that that kind of motion happened. Anyway, but this movie is definitely better than what most people are saying. I definitely encourage people to go see it.
Yeah.
If we did, we were planning to do like a little mini review on the Lethal Protector series.
Yeah.
That this was kind of based off of.
Yeah, sort of. It's loosely.
And then we read Lethal Protector because we were going to do like a little comic review on it. And I also heard that it was part of Planet of the Symbiotes, which, yeah, I think there's like one fucking tie-in to the Planet of the
Right.
Symbiotes of this. But the Lethal Protector series, because Eddie Brock is in San Francisco and everything, and several other little things. But yeah, really, like the Life Foundation,
San Francisco.
Francisco.
And then Treese is a character from the comics, not the same character in the movie, but
Yeah.
the name is used.
He's a henchman in this one.
Yeah.
And in that one, he's just evil millionaire, billionaire,
Right.
you know, generic comic millionaire, billionaire, trying to do millionaire, billionaire stuff in the comic. And that's really it.
Yeah.
There is nothing else. I mean, there's other symbiotes, but not as many like in Lethal Protector. So that's why we never really did a review on it, because as we read it, we realized like, oh yeah, this is not gonna happen. Like,
Right, yeah, and there's a lot of Spider-Man in Lethal Protector. It's also, it's kind of a tough comic to get through, if I'm being honest. It's super generic. Gold is a main motivating factor.
No.
Land is a main motivating factor.
Yeah.
Billionaire, villain, a lot of tropes in it. So Matt and I were kind of laughing about like, oh yeah, well I still haven't finished it. Have you finished it? No, Venom's next week. Have you? You know, and it was a little tough to get through. Part of the other reason we decided not to really do much of a review on it. Very generic 90s comic, I guess. But yeah, and then it just has a ton of Spider-Man in it. He plays a huge part, and obviously in Venom there is no Spider-Man. Spoilers.
Yeah, but there is a after credit scene, which, yeah, you know, I think maybe some people thought was coming. I don't know. I'm not sure if people saw this one coming or not, but yeah, it's definitely worth staying after for the extra credit scene. And
they set things up and leave it open for a possible sequel.
And I just want to say this. Sony, you know, you have people out there that want to see these movies and stuff, some anyway. Stop. Whoever your marketing team is, this is just overall. I kept seeing so many clips coming out during the week of Venom. And, like, it was all the action scenes, I think. I didn't watch them, but, like, I kept seeing, like, the thumbnails for them. And it looked like it was all the action scenes.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm like, why?
Let me just ruin
Sony
everything.
just gives away so much to advertise, and I don't know why they do that. And again, they did it again. The very last scene of the movie is in the trailer.
Right.
Is in the trailer again. I mean, it's not really as much of a spoiler.
No, it's not like super important, but it also kind of like makes you wonder a little bit.
They did it again. They did it again with the fucking trailer. Could not believe that. But again, I definitely say it's worth going to see. The sound is good. The look. Venom is a little wonky sometimes. He does have like a glossy look. His CGI, I think, is good overall.
Yeah.
I think there's only one time I really noticed some bad kind of green screen. And I mean, that was during that, and you kind of noticed it during that motorcycle chase.
Yeah.
That you see in the trailers and stuff, which, by the way, is not as generic as you thought.
Right.
Like, I remember first seeing that, I was like, oh, cool, Jason Bourne, awesome, look at him go.
Right. There's the obligatory car chase motorcycle scene, and they do a better job with it. It's in there.
I had fun with it for sure.
Yeah. And they utilize the Venom similar to what you've seen in the trailer.
So, all right, I think that's gonna.
Yeah, I think that concludes it.
So definitely go see it.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. It's funny. I thought it was funny. I laughed at a couple points.
Yeah, good, solid action movie.
A little slow in the beginning.
Yeah.
A little slow in the beginning, but fun. It had some good comedy. Natural, for the most part, comedy.
Right.
Things weren't forced. And it had good action for the most part. Nothing revolutionary. It's not going to fucking...
not at all.
It's not going to set Venom on the map as, like, the grand all-be-all fucking superhero of all time. But it's definitely worth a watch, and it's a good stepping stone, anyway, for Sony to get their ass in gear and make some decent comic book movies so we can have some variation in our comic book movies.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say definitely worth going to see in the theater based on sound, action, and just to help the box office so that Sony doesn't get discouraged by all this bullshit reviews.
And then, I don't know what the Venom, and the reason why I say also in the theaters, because the Venom voice, I feel like it really translates well to surround sound. Like if you're in if you're in a theater, the way it comes through the and shit like that,
and the bass,
yeah,
and everything, yeah,
it really comes through well. So I think that'll be it. So in case I don't see you,
good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. You know, all these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.